My question is to Minister Shandro. Sir, by any chance you have any plans to include in a vaccination plan the truck drivers, construction worker, people working in the grocery store, cashiers, day work, day home people? Because I think currently they are helping to run the economy. Any thoughts, sir?
Sure. Um, First of all, I'd say that I want everyone to get their vaccine today. The difficulty, and we have the capacity through AHS and our community partners in doing 1 million vaccines a month. That's what our capacity is for the seasonal flu vaccine. We are only limited by the small amount of vaccines that we're receiving right now from the federal government. So that's a difficulty. This is a supply issue. We don't even really want to have cohorts at this time. We would like to have more people included and wouldn't want to necessarily have these cohorts. I'd also point out that anybody who is included in one of the phase 2 categories by vulnerability, whether it's by through an underlying condition where they might be included in phase 2B, or whether by age in the other categories in phase 2, would definitely be included in phase 2 already for those reasons. For phase 3, I think by the time we get to phase 3 at the end of the second quarter of 2021, we will have then not the issues with supply that we have had throughout February and March, and there may not be a need to have cohorting of by occupation and just be able to have a wider rollout to all Albertans. And we think from the allotment tables that we've gotten so far for the vaccines that have been approved, that by the end of June, that anybody who is over 18 that would like their first dose will get their first dose. So this is a matter of us just not getting most of the vaccines we'd like to get until next week. I think we're going to have a much wider rollout, and in April as well. So maybe I should also pass this on to Dr. Hinshaw. We're deferential to her and her recommendations when it comes to the cohorting of different groups of populations in phase 1 and phase 2. And maybe Dr. Hinshaw, if you disagree with my characterization of what we might expect for phase 3, since you're going to be the one looking at the amount of vaccines we get and whether there should be further cohorting in phase 3, but whether we should be including it, separating people by occupation, I'll leave that for you to answer.
Sure, I would just add to what you've said that the way that we have, at least the way that I've made recommendations based on the limited supply of vaccines that we have, is really focusing on who is at highest risk of severe outcomes and who are the people who potentially could expose those individuals. There are lots of people who have been doing amazing work in the front line, and all of those occupations that you mentioned: transit drivers, grocery store clerks, truck drivers, people without whom we really couldn't survive. And so the choice of vaccine is absolutely not about value that people provide in the work that they do. The choice of who has been given the opportunity to have vaccine in the next phases is about who is at that highest risk if they should get COVID, of getting sick, needing hospital care, needing ICU care, or dying. And so any individual who's in any of those occupations who has a health condition that puts them at risk, or who's in an age group that's at risk, those people absolutely are going to be eligible to get vaccine in the next month or so. When we look at the phase 3 and how we're going to be sequencing that, those decisions haven't been made yet. And some of that will depend on vaccine supply. We do expect, depending on how things roll out, but the federal government has indicated they believe we will be getting increasing volumes of vaccine through Q2 and into Q3. And so there may actually be a very short wait. Once we finish up phase 2 and moving into phase 3, we may be able to offer vaccine to many, many people in a very short period of time. And so those decisions, again, are being made based on what we expect our vaccine volumes will be and what the quickest way will be of offering vaccine to all Albertans. So I just want to reiterate that all of those people working in those frontline jobs are providing essential services, and that the fact that they are eligible for vaccine only if they are personally at high risk in the next month or two is not a judgment on their value that they're providing to society. It is simply that we are focusing very, very intentionally on people who have that highest risk of severe outcomes or death, because we do have a shortage right now of vaccine, and we want to protect individuals from, again, the most severe outcomes.